Okay, this will be a second video specifically related to the law of sines. In the last video I worked a problem involving the law of sines where you were given two angles and a side. Please refer to that by clicking on my channel name and looking at the videos that I've published regarding that. Before I get started in this video, the formula again for the law of sines. So it states that if you're given a triangle with angles capital A, B, and C, and opposite sides A, B, C, little a, B, and C respectively, the law of sines tells you that the sine of A divided by side A is equal to the sine of B divided by side B, and that's equal to the sine of C divided by side C. And of course I'm talking about the length of the side. You can also write these formulas as A over sine of A equals to B over sine of B is equal to C over sine of C. Okay, in this particular video I'm going to look at problems where you're given two sides and the angle opposite one of the sides. So it's not the included angle, but it's the angle opposite one of the two sides. Now this particular case, the ambiguous case, because it can lead to either no triangle possible, one triangle possible, or two triangles. So let's look at the first example. You're given side B to be 4 units, side C to be 6 units, and angle B to be 93 degrees. Okay. So we want to use the information to find either an angle or a side. Okay, so we're given a side and an angle and then another side. So it makes sense then that we should write this as, say, the sine of angle C divided by the length of the opposite side, which is little c, which is given to be 6 units. Okay. That in turn then should equal to the sine of any other angle. Obviously you want to use the angles that are given, so that's 93 degrees. So let's say the sine of 93 degrees divided by the side opposite that, which is given to be 4. Okay, so I have the sine of 93 degrees divided by 4 is equal to the sine of C divided by 6. So I'm going to solve for the sine of C. Okay, so I'm going to say the sine of C is going to equal to, look at the formula over here which we got from the law of sines. It's sine of 93 degrees. So using my calculator, and since I'm dealing with degrees I want to make sure the calculator is in degree mode. Hit mode, and this one is set to degrees, so we're okay. So then, to solve for the sine of C, then I would have then the sine of 93, and I don't need the degrees because the calculator knows it's already in degrees. The sine of 93 then divided by 4 is that number there. And then of course to solve for sine of C, I would have to multiply both sides by 6. So multiply this by 6, I just hit times 6. I get 1.49. Let's just run that up to 1.5. Okay, so then the sine of C is 1.5. Okay, so my next step then would be to find angle C by taking the sine inverse of 1.5 and computing that in degrees. However, at this particular point in your course of study, you should know that if you take the sine of any angle, you have to get a number between -1 and 1. You never get a number larger than 1. You never get a number less than -1. Obviously 1.5 is greater than 1. So this situation is impossible. So what does that tell you? There's no triangle possible. Okay, so this is the easy case when there's no triangle. And all you have to do is just follow the procedure. You're given the information. So what angle do I try to find? To set up this formula, I use all the information given here. The sine of an angle over the opposite side should equal to the sine of an angle over the opposite side. Set up the equation, and if this is impossible right here, then no triangle is possible. So for the first one then, no triangle. Is possible. And that's the easy case, because you don't have to do anything more. This tells you to determine whether there's 1, 2, or no triangle. Solve any triangle that results. Well, in this case we have no triangle, so there's nothing to do. Okay, so let's clear this. And go to the next one. Okay, two sides are given again, and we're given the angle opposite one of the sides. In this case, the angle opposite side B. B is equal to 10, and we're given angle B. So again, we set up the formula. So over here then, I would obviously then, since I'm given angle B and side B, and I'm given side C, then obviously then what I would want to do then is find angle C. So the sine of C divided by 9 should equal to the sine of 36. This is in degrees divided by 10. Okay, so that's the equation that you have. Sine of C over 9 should equal to the sine of 36 divided by 10. So obviously I want to find angle C. Okay, so angle C is going to equal to, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to say, okay, let's say sine of 36 divided by 10, multiply that by 9. Okay, so I'm doing sine of 36 divided by 10 multiplied by 9 will give me sine of C. So then if I want angle C, I simply take the inverse, sine inverse of that number. Okay, so here we go over here. The sine of 36 divided by 10 is that number, and then we multiply that by 9, we get that number. Okay, so basically the sine of C, is 0.5290006 and so on. So if I want angle C, I take sine inverse of that. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Second, sine inverse, and I want sine inverse of this, which is the previous answer, so I just go to second and hit answer and hit enter, and I get 31.94. So this is taking the sine inverse of this number right here, and it gives me 31.94. So this tells me that C then is 31.94 degrees. in the previous problem, there was no solution, so there's nothing to do. We got sine of c larger than 1, so that had no solution. So in this case, we do get an answer. C is equal to 31.94. Now the way you're going to check to see if there's two solutions, you're going to find the complement, or the supplement I should say, of this angle. Because if you get an answer here, which we get 31.94, it's possible that the supplement is also a solution. So what we do then is take 180 and subtract 31.94. Okay, and we get 48.06. Okay, so the supplement angle is equal to 148.06, and that's going to be degrees. Okay, so now at this particular point, you're supposed to determine whether you're going to have one. Obviously, we have one solution because we got 31.94, but degrees for C. But is it possible that we have a second triangle? Well, if you have a second triangle possible, the supplement is also going to work. And again, you can refer to the previous video that I did to get the justification for that. But here's what we said has to happen. If you're going to have two solutions, the way you test it is you take the supplement angle, which is 148.06, and add the given angle. The given angle here is 36. If that's less than 180, then you're going to have two triangles possible. If that's greater than 180, greater than or equal to 180, then you're only going to have one solution possible. In other words, the 148 is not going to be possible, because remember, the angles have to add up to 180. All three angles have to add up to 180. So if this angle, right here, the supplement and the given angle add up to 180 or more, then you don't have anything left for the third angle. Okay, so you can see here that 148.06 plus the given angle, which is 36, is larger than 180. So in this particular case, one triangle is possible. Okay, so this angle is not going to work. So now we proceed pretty much like I did in the video before this, when you were given the two angles on one side. Now you just go through and say, okay, I've got this as one solution. C then is going to work. And angle A, we can easily find, because now we know that 36 degrees works is the given angle, and the other angle is 31.94. So because we know the angles have to add up to 180, we add the 36 and the 31.94 and subtract it from 180, and we get 112.06 degrees. Okay, so here's the other angle. Okay, so now we have all three angles. We have C, we have B, we have A. We have the two sides, so now we're only missing side A. Okay, so again, using the law of sines, we're going to find side A. So A divided by the sine 0.06 degrees should equal to any other side. Of course 10 is given, so I'm just going to use 10. I could have used the 9 also, since I already know that also. So I'm just going to say that's going to equal to 10 divided by the sine. Of 36 degrees. Okay. So now we just use the calculator. Okay. So we'll clear this, and I'll just say it's 10 divided by the sine of 36 degrees. And I'll just hit enter. And then I multiply this, so this will be times the sine of 112.06. Hit enter. And to two places, I get A is equal to 15.77. Okay, so A, side A, is equal to little a then is equal to 15.77. And there you have it. Okay, so I've worked the problem where you have no triangle possible. I worked the problem where you have one triangle possible. In the next video, I'll go ahead and work an example where you have two triangles possible. So again, please subscribe to the channel if this helps, and we'll see you in the next video.